Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody out there. This is the Analyze It webinar. It's like our first one. So this is in the lines of a support webinar, the same as Net Talk does or Noyantis does. So if you have questions, you can put them in the questions box and we'll open your mic and we can talk about anything you'd like as related to Analyze It. With me today is Mary Wade. Hello, Mary.
Hello, everybody.
And between the two of us, we'll do our best to help everybody out. So what we thought we would do is start with a completely blank application and then add the Analyze It template into it. Um, just take a few minutes just to go through that process of doing it. And then I have an application that I've been working on that will back up your Analyze It queries. And Mary has some queries that she's done that might help you to understand honeycomb a little better. The honeycomb side of it, personally, I have not worked with very much at all, just except to get the data there. And Mary's doing more of the data side of it. So that should be kind of interesting. And again, if you have questions, just raise your hand or type in the questions box and we'll open your mic and do what we can to answer them. All right, so let's go ahead and add everything in. Now, several of you have the program already, I believe, and I don't know how many of you have done anything with it. How many, raise your hand if you have done some testing with Analyze It, with the demo apps or your own application. Rich, I know you have. I'll look at that legacy demo after this webinar. So Rich has, and no one else is raising their hand. Okay, so we'll go ahead and run through how to add it then. And if you have any questions along the way, just ask. Okay, so this is an ABC application that Bruce gave me. He uses this for his CapeSoft templates, and I guess he's got an ABC and a legacy, and he gave me copies of all of those. And so that's what I've been using to make demos with. So the first thing we go is to global extensions, and there aren't any. We have requirements. One of them is NetTalk. So we need to add NetTalk in first. And there's really no settings you have to do on here. WinEvent is also required. And I had a question about maybe making WinEvent optional. It's not required by NetTalk. It is required by GPF Reporter, and we're requiring it in our app. The reason we have it required is to be able to report workstation information back to you, and that includes things like free memory, also system times and things like that are all coming out of WinEvent. So it's pretty integrated into the classes. You could comment it out of the classes if you really didn't want to use WinEvent at all, I guess, but I don't have an easy way of just turning it off. So we'll think about that. Okay, JFiles is required. And again, there's nothing to set. And if you had a multi-DLL, then you would set their multi-DLL settings. Otherwise, there's nothing that we need to do. And string theory is required. Okay, so these four are required at the minimum. And if you want to do GPF reporting, which is a pretty good thing to do, it's pretty good information to have, you would add a couple more things. So I'm going to go ahead and add those two. So GPF reporter. And there's some setup we have to do in here. I wonder, let's not do it yet. But there are some things we have to set here. And hyperactive is required by GPF reporter. and that's it. So a lot of Capesoft stuff, but it's all good stuff. And I would hope that you would use a lot of these in some of your other programs as well. All right, so now we're ready to add our template. So there's Analyze.It. Okay, so we'll start here. So I have a button here for help, and the help file is not 100% written, but I think there's enough in there to answer most of your questions. I did want to point out a couple things in the help file. The thing that no one reads, but there's some good information in here that I would encourage you to look at. Um, Requirements, files that are installed. Marty's asking if there's a recording that's available. Yes, this is being recorded, and we'll post this on the Onosoft site. Right, Mary? We have a section for videos, I think, under support.
Right, yeah, I'll add it in there.
Yeah, so it'll end up there probably by the end of today. Okay, so anyway, this describes what the program does, data tracking. The quick start is a good place to start. It talks about running the examples and has instructions on how to do that. And we're going to be looking at the Analyze.It ABC example today as well. And then these are steps for adding it to your application. And so these two things should kind of get you going. Okay, other information. When we go through the global template, well, we'll go through it. This goes through each of what we're going to do today. So move that out of the way. All right, so one of the first things you need to do is get a Honeycomb account. And Honeycomb is very easy to sign up for. All of our data goes to Honeycomb. I think everybody should be familiar with that. Let's go get our API key. So this is the data set that we're going to be looking at today. I just made up a support at Onosoft account yesterday. We'll go into my account and we're going to look at the API key. Now, I don't care if this is public because all we're doing with the API key is sending data, and I can do things like retrieve queries, and that's about it. So unless you're a team member here, having the API key is it doesn't mean anything to anybody. You'd be sending data that you would never be able to see again. So it's not a big deal if you see this key. Now I can also change the key or create a new key or whatever. If all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of events coming through, I can just disable the key. So anyway, I'm not concerned about it. So this is where you would grab your key from. Now you can have multiple people on your team. They call these teams. And it's pretty easy to add somebody to this. So if you've got a company and a lot of people want to look at this data, then you just add them in. They get their own account, and then we did it the other day, right, Mary? You just
Yeah,
add
and then
them. There's
yeah,
a couple places.
and you can just join, you just join teams and then you can see all the queries can be shared then between everybody.
Right. Yeah. Here's our team name here, and then you go from there. Okay. So we are here. So I'm going to put my key in here. So single quotes and not to use single quotes can be a challenge sometimes because you're not sure. What I tried to do is follow that if you have this little box here with the three dots, you need to use single quotes because this could be a variable or a function, something that returns the key. You can put anything in there, but if it's a literal string, you need to put single quotes. So I tried to carry that throughout the template. So anywhere that you see that little box, use single quotes. If you don't see the box, then just type it in. Okay, so common data. Common data is going to be in every data set. A data set is like a table, and events are like records. So all you're doing here is just creating a database. And we'll put in our program here, program name here. And you have a version number here, and this could be, you can use one event to get the version number out of your own application, out of your exe. So you can automate this so you never have to change this. I'm just going to type in a version number. Say 22nd. But what I really end up doing here is using a function that gets it out of my exe. So it's always up to date. Now, if you want to track other common data, you can add them here. So we can track a serial number, for example. So if you're tracking, if each of your installations has a serial number or license number, something that lets somebody run 5 seats or whatever, you might want to have that passed over to you as well. Maybe the company name, things like that. So you know who is running your program. But we'll just put in a serial number of something. Okay. And again, this will probably be a variable. Now, one thing to note is that these things are filled out right at the very beginning of your program. So if you're going to fill them out later, you have to make a call to add common data method in order to update the value, because it won't update it automatically. It updates it once at the beginning of the program, and those values are then static. But you can update them dynamically at any point. And we can talk about that a little more if you need more information on that later. All right, so here we are with data sets. So these are the things that we want to track. And this is whatever you want to do, I guess. So usually there's some standard ones I've been using. Let's call this one. Let's see, we're gonna go. I want to make it different than what we got there now. So this is no demo. How's that? All right, I want to track sessions here. So a session, when your end user runs the program, that starts a session. And when they exit the program, that ends the session. So it's kind of like on a website, right? When you start up, when you go to a website, a session, you get a session ID. Is like that. So a session is essentially an ID that's assigned when the person starts your program and ends it. And the session ID will be in every data set. So you can link them together. So I can separate things out. I can keep my workstation information in a separate data set than procedures. So I'd like to kind of break them up into different ones. The description is just for your own information. You could leave it blank. There's also, for tracking this particular item, you can have it track all the time. We can have a variable, and when it's true, it will track this. When it's false, it won't. I'm not going to include workstation information or any other values here, but these are the things I want to track here. So I want it on session start. I like to do a ping and an on session end. Now, we didn't talk about pings. That was on the front, the very first tab. But a ping is just, it's a ping. It'll send an event over, and it lets you know that that application is still working. When we were kind of developing this a while ago, we would have people would be running the program, and then it would quit on them, and then they wouldn't run it again, or maybe it was the end of the day, or would quit in the middle of the night, but it would just quit, and we didn't know that it had stopped. With a ping, you can set it up to do it on any sort of time interval. So if you do it every 7 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever you like, you'll get a ping. And if you're not pinged by and it's over 10 minutes and you've set it for 5 minutes, then you can know that there's something wrong with that station, and it's locked up or frozen, and you might want to follow up on that. So I do like to have the ping just to know things are doing things, right? That's all that I really do for sessions. We can track procedures, entering and exiting. So this is something that I probably would put on a variable because you don't necessarily need to track your customers, all of your customers going in and out of procedures, because that's going to send an awful lot of events to Honeycomb. Now Honeycomb will take 20 million events. Is that right? Per month? I think that's right. So that sounds like a lot, but you might want to kind of do the math on how many customers you've got, how many end users you have, and how many events you think those individual users will be sending out during a day. Because there's a chance you could exceed it, especially if you have a lot of customers or a lot of end users using it. So I would just say be cautious with this particular thing. Put it on a variable. If you're having an issue at a certain on a certain site on a certain workstation, then you could, if you have a variable set, I usually just have it where they can drop in a text file, and if a text file exists, then the variable turns on, and then all this information will start coming over. So it's useful for debugging. You could at least kind of see where they are. Now, one thing that we did add to this to help with debugging, if you get a GPF or if your program just stops, it does report the last 10 procedures that were visited by the end user. So you may or may not have to use this whole procedure track to figure out what they're doing. There might be enough information in a GPF report to figure out what they were doing. Or, my program just stopped. What were they doing right before it stopped? So we do that as well. But still, it's kind of neat to see them going in and out, and it's an interesting thing to turn on once in a while. So we'll turn this on. Okay, Marty had a question. Whoops. Yeah, Marty, you're self-muted, so you can turn on your mic. I think I know the question. Okay, Marty, you're muted, so if you can unmute, that's fine. You can talk. Otherwise, I'll just read the question. So he's saying, I don't understand what initiates a ping in this context. I don't think it would in this particular one. I mean, ping here would probably not make sense to turn on. In fact, I think it probably only makes sense to turn on on session when you're doing a session thing. So this might have to be reworked a little bit to make more sense. I haven't actually tried it. I don't know if you've got multiple data sets and turn on pings. I think it'll ping it, but I don't think it's useful. Was it Ono demo? Okay, so we're going to do on a procedure enter, exit, and gain focus. Now I like to do gain focus because then you know what that person is looking at pretty much. They've just clicked on your customer list, or they've clicked on settings, or whatever they've clicked on, and you'll know that with the gain focus. Because they could have the customer list up on the screen the entire time, but you never know when they're looking at it. We'll only report it once that it entered, but gain focus, it'll report it every time. So that's what I put for this here. You could include workstation information here if you wanted to watch memory. I think I'll turn that on. I might, yeah, I'll turn that on. We'll see what it looks like in a little bit. Rich has a comment. I'll unmute you, Rich.
Okay. My comment was I was going to set up just one data set because I wasn't going to track workstation info, everything that WinEvent can track.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I had just one data set, I was thinking I would be like where you're at right now on tracking procedures. And I would also just do session start, session end, and ping all right in one data set.
Okay.
Would that work?
Yeah, it should. It should. Everything will just go to that one data set. So Yeah, I kind of like to break them all up just because I don't know. I think it's just a preference. It's really how you want to do it. Everything can be in one. I don't think there's any real issue with it. The data goes to Honeycomb, and then they do all the work as far as queries and things go. But
Uh,
they don't do joins very well. I don't think we can ask Mary about that in a little bit. But
my data is actually going to go to an API server that one of our other programmers wrote. So in the end, it won't be going to Honeycomb.
oh, okay, all right. Yeah, I think that's really cool that you interfaced it with something else. That's pretty neat. Um, in fact, one of the things I was going to try to do, and I might talk to you a little bit about it, is adding. I can go ahead and say this one here, analytics service. It's the only one that's here, but there might be one that says manual, where
Yeah,
you could define a lot of the things in here, where you could hook it up a little more easily to something external.
yeah. There's only 2 lines of code in the template I had to change to make it go
Really?
to ours.
Okay. You'll have to let me know what those were, and then I could put a manual switch in. There might be some places
Yeah,
where you need to redefine field names or something, that kind of a thing. But I think it'd be
yeah,
nice
yeah.
to give you the flexibility to hook it up like you did. I thought that was pretty neat.
Okay.
All right, so cool. I'm gonna add one more I'm gonna add one more thing here, which is workstations. Oops. Thanks, Rich. Okay, so this is just workstation information here, and that's just gonna happen one time on session start. Now, the reason I put it in the procedures though is because it will give us free memory, and then you can see how memory was tracking. That's why I added it there as well. I might, there's always, even as I'm doing demos, I'm thinking of things I could do here. And one of the things might be to not send over all the workstation information, but just the memory, or let you select what you want sent over. I don't know, so many things to do. All right, trackers. So a tracker is something that you add to something. So an example is a button. If I want to add a tracker, if I have a new feature in my program, a new report or something, and I want to know how many people are running that report, I can add a tracker to it. And all this is asking us here is what's a default data set that you want to send your trackers to. So it just, if I want all my trackers to go to one data set, this would be our default one. But I can have my trackers go to individual data sets if I wanted to. They're usually added to a local procedure. Okay, APTs. APTs are abnormal program terminations, and I've divided them into 2 types. It's essentially ones that you get reports on and ones that you don't. So a UE, unexpected exit, is when your program just quits. And that happens, unfortunately, from time to time. Your program will just stop. And your end user, it's frozen up on the screen. They have to task manager out of it, or it just disappears, something that's unexpected. So you might want to track those. That'd probably be a good idea, in fact, to track those. So I'm going to put those into a UE data set. And then the second thing is a GPF. I think this is worth its weight in gold here, the GPF reporter. Of course, I guess digitally it doesn't weigh anything, but you get the idea. Because GPF reporter gives you an awful lot of information to help debug things. Now, originally in the first release, a GPF reporter, what would happen is you'd get a GPF, the program would exit, and then the next time you ran it, it would save the GPF to disk. The next time you ran it, it would see the GPF there. It would prompt the customer for what went wrong, and then it would send it to you. I realized the GPF reporter is just running. Your program is stopped, but the GPF reporter part is it's a program. So now it prompts you when you get a GPF, the end user is prompted immediately and it sends the GPF report to you immediately. So that's really nice. The only delay you have is in these unexpected exits when it just disappears, because there's no way it can write something before it disappears. It doesn't know it's going to happen. Mark's asking if the GPF reporter requires the CapeSoft GPF template. Yes, it does. Yeah, and it's well worth it. We've been able to solve lots of things very quickly using GPF reporter. So this is where we're going to talk about how to set this up, though. So let me go ahead and get a data set in there for it. Okay, my prompt is getting clipped here, but this is GPF reporter. It's deriving the GPF reporter class. And so you have to do specific things in order to make this work correctly. So I've put instructions here that will step-by-step you through what you need to do. We'll just read through them very quickly and then I'll go and do it. But so in the CapeSoft reporter global template, there's an options tab. You want to fill in a log name. That just keeps a log for the for your end user locally. Uncheck the offer to email GPF report. You don't need it to do that. I actually don't think it'll do it anyway. I think that we're kind of overriding all of these things. And then there's a message box option, details only. This is the really important part. On the classes tab, you want to change the class name to Analyze.It GPF. That's our class that we're overriding their class with. Okay. You want to make a note of the object name that defaults to this GPF. So we're going to make sure that that's what it is. And that's all you have to do in the GPF reporter part. In ours, you get to where we are right now, and then you make sure that this name matches whatever was in the other side. So I'm just defaulting to what theirs is, so you shouldn't have to change it. But you want to make sure that this works the way it should. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to there. Here's GPF reporter. So here's a pen to log file. If you don't want to keep a log file, you don't need to. We kind of keep an archive of all the GPFs that we get through anyway. So you could just turn that off if you wanted. You could turn this off. And that's it. And then you need to decide, do you want to restart the program or not automatically? I usually don't, especially if I'm testing. I don't need it to keep running the program over and over when I'm debugging. Okay, and then you have to go to classes. So here's what we're talking about in the help file. So this object name is this GPF, and that's what we want to leave alone. And we already matched up on our side, so that part's really done. And then this is Analyze a GPF. And that's all you need to do. And then we just kind of take over and go from there. What Rich is asking, what makes the log file name local? Is it prefixing a folder path to it, or using the current working folder? It uses the current working folder. I guess whenever I've used it, that's what it does. Yeah, it makes a log file in the working folder. But you could put a path right here. I mean, it's doing it here. So if you want to put a path in front of it, you could, / something something. I believe that works. So this has been really good for us. We actually started kind of working on this like 4 years ago. We did a release and people started having all sorts of problems, but we found that people don't report the problems when they occur. They might say that they had a GPF, but it's like they've been having them for 3 days, and then they report it 3 days later. Whereas if we'd known 3 days earlier, we could have had it solved 3 days earlier. So they just don't report it. They don't email it. They don't give you details on them, anything like that. So we wanted to have a system where we could get reports on anything that went wrong, and we would know it right away. We wouldn't have to rely on them clicking the email button, or calling up somebody at support. So that to us was a big bonus. All right, so you're all set here, and then this folder to store APT. Now, if you leave it blank, it's just going to put it in your local folder where you're running from. That might not be good if you're working from a network. You want it to go somewhere on the customer's machine probably, because it's well, I don't know. It might not matter too much because they are named by the date and time, and they probably will not overlap. But I would make it local, and you can set whatever path you want here to store it. I'm just going to actually leave it blank for this demo. And here, prompt end user for additional information on restart. This applies to the UEs. It doesn't apply to GPFs anymore because you're prompted right away. So on a UE, I would turn this on, and that way, if there was an issue, they could tell you what was going on right beforehand. It's up to you whether you want that on or not. Global threaded variables. I'm going to go over a couple of these things just kind of briefly because it can get complex, I guess. But the idea here is to be able to track things like global request and global response. So those are globally threaded variables, and we can track those. It's a little tricky behind the scenes to do that, but I tried to make it fairly easy to set it up. You turn on, you want to track global response variables, you got to turn that on. This we won't talk about for now. It's covered in the help file. So here you would add what files you're going to track. So if I wanted to track globals, and my column name was request. Yeah, I think this was Rich's request, right? Okay, so this will give me the value of global request. Let's see, where does this come through? Code will be generated in browse and form templates. So as you're coming through the your procedures, it'll report these. Is what it'll do. That way you can know if they were doing an insert or an edit or what have you. And it can get fairly complex if you really wanted to track a lot of different global variables. Oh, okay. Rich is saying he's not sure how this relates to this. This is for additional assignments that you might want to do if you have multi-DLLs and you want to track these things. Now the global response, these will work in multi-DLL, but I'm starting to wonder if I need this now. One of these things where I developed it out and then I don't know. I have to think about this. This might actually not be needed. The idea is you put in an ink file with your assignments in there, and then you don't have to go through. Actually, let me think. No, you would. You would have to add these in here. These are being assigned. Global requests and such are being assigned. Here you would have to assign the variables. You'd have to assign the global thread variable with like a local variable. And you might be doing that throughout your whole program. And to save you from going out, having to go into this template in every single multi-DLL, you just make an ink file that does that assignment for you. And then you just have to change the ink file if you add more variables that you're trying to track. That's what it is. This gets confusing for me too. It was not easy to figure this out, but this works here with browse and form templates. So I might make this just specific for global requests. And maybe, yeah, I'll have to think this a little bit more through, but it'll do some neat things, maybe just not in a very elegant way at the moment. So we're just saying I see response versus request, right? So we might leave this aside, and we have more webinars we can always do, right? All right. Okay. These are just the names of your classes. Just leave them. This is just what's required. And this is our copyright. Okay, that takes us through the template. So it's kind of ready to go. We can compile it. Now, all of our data sets had oh no demo in front of it. So, all right, so here's our program. It just ran on the other screen. We've just entered the program. I haven't really done anything else. So let's see if we have some data. So I don't know how many people have been to Honeycomb site or have hooked this up, maybe no one. This is the Honeycomb site. We've already logged in. On the right here, spread this out so you can see what all the different things are you can do. Here's our data sets. This has a few things going here. So we just ran the program and we've already created a couple data sets. Here's our demo procedures that we just added, our demo sessions, demo workstations. So if I wanted to look at the sessions and see what's happening, you would click on sessions. And this has all sorts of ways to look at your data. And I'm gonna let Mary talk about that in a minute. I'll get you here with some data and then we'll turn it over to Mary and she can tell you a little bit more about how to handle this sort of thing. All I've been doing really is coming in, having nothing up here, and I just want to see the data sets that are coming in. That's typically what I've been doing to look at it. So here's the data that we told it to track, and you can see the session begins. Here's the executable. So this is where it's coming from on my hard drive here. This is the name of the program that we typed in. Here's our serial number we typed in. Here's the session ID. So that's what's generated each time that we're doing things. Here's the version number. Yeah, I typed that in too. When it began, the session when it began, and there you go. So we've got just some data that came in. You can filter this as far as looking at it on the left-hand side here. I like to give myself a little more room. And typically what I look at, because these are common, these are in every data set, I usually like to look at the event order, the event. So I got a session begin, and this is what it was first one. So one is showing up there. A lot of the stuff I don't need to know so much. I do like to know the session ID and the time it began. There you go. So as more data comes in here, it makes it simpler for me to look at. Unfortunately, there's not a way to save this. It's like you have to do it each time. So one of the things when you're naming your data sets, we did it in the template. We have common in front of the things that are common. If you're adding in your own data set type things, try to break it up with, if you're adding in your own fields, I guess, for your description. The first part, tracker dot or common dot, that kind of groups them into categories for you visually and makes it a little bit easier to make sense of what you're looking at.
Yeah, they're always sorted, like, alphabetically, right? So they don't.
Right.
You can't move them around. So to make it easier visually, group them.
Yes. So if you added in a field name and it started with an A or something, it's going to come before the commons. It's going to show up over here, and you can't move these things around, as Mary said. Okay, that's really all we've got going on in here. Now I'm going to go ahead and we're tracking procedures, so let's just go in and out a little bit. It doesn't, I don't see it affecting the speed of your program, at least in my testing, and I've added this to our point of sale program as well. I haven't seen any real slowdown. We did have in the version that's out right now, it might have a focus issue where it's taking focus away when it's sending out the API calls. I fixed that, and that's going to be posted soon, like within the next, I don't know if it'll be today because there's a couple other things I've found that I want to take care of, but soon. And we've been sending out notices when we have new things go up. Okay, so I can go up here now and I can click on to change data sets. And here's procedures. So this should be tracking our procedures now. So let's take a look at that. And you have to run. Now see what it's done is it's put this count in here. So I can run the query and it's going to show up on a little chart here. Now this doesn't mean a lot to me, and I'm going to let Mary take over in just a minute to show you data we've been just kind of putting in this morning and queries that she's made. So this to me doesn't mean a whole lot. I typically look at the raw data to see what's happening. So this is all the stuff that's happened just in the app that I'm running right now. And again, I like to filter some of this stuff out. So again, event order, the event itself. I don't need these things here. I don't need comment. I need session ID. Because one thing I do like to do, you'll have a lot of people in here, a lot of different session IDs. You can filter on a session ID to see what that particular workstation was doing. Okay, so I want to see the procedure name. There's the procedure that I went to. I want to see maybe the time. This one, when they went into the procedure. Okay, and then this is also tracking free memory. I've got this really, I turned on workstations. It should be showing me all the workstation information, and that's one of the things I want to fix before I upload the next release. Okay, so typically what I would do, because you'd have more than one session in here, you can click here on the 3 dots in the column, and then show only where session ID equals what you want to look at. So that, nothing really happened because that's the only session ID. But now we're looking at this, just this one. And now I want to look at it in order. So if I click on the header, oops. Oh, you know what? You can't sort it if you're doing this thing. You gotta have this clear. I discovered that. Okay. So I would go here and I'd look at one session ID and then I would sort it. Okay, so now it's in order that things happened from the first thing that happened to the last thing that's happened. So then you can check and see, is there something open right now? Is there some procedure that's still open? Right now, there's not. I closed all the procedures. But if I walk over here, or if I go over here, and I'm opening up products, I'm going to run the query again. And you can see how fast it ends up over here. Here's browse product. That's what I just did, and it gained focus on main because in fact, I actually just lost focus too. Oops. I just closed it, run the query. There's the close. Okay, so you can really see how people move through your program here with this data set here. And I guess let's see if there's any other thing we'll look at. Sessions, workstations. I get rid of the count, then I run it. So this, yeah, it's not showing all of this of the information. There's I broke something. So that would just show me the workstation and it's tied to the session, and the session ID puts you back, can tie it to the other side. Okay, so I think that's all I'll look at here. Are there any questions there on how to set it up, how to add it to your program? Anything along those lines? Can you please session by customer serial number? Yeah. Yeah, the serial number is a common event, so you can query it by that. And that's how this is a good time to turn it over to Mary, right? Because you can do these kinds of things. I'm going to change the screen over to you.
Okay.
And she'll walk you through the querying part. Now this is an outside service that we're using, so we're not experts in this by any means, but there's a lot of information on the Honeycomb site itself on how to look at your data, on sending events over, all that kind of thing. So you'll have to spend some time learning the Honeycomb side of it. Rich has his own API server that he's sending this data to. I was thinking at some point I might make up a little demo NetTalk server that you could use as a basis to start your own, where you could collect your own data out of this if you wanted to. So there's lots of options. And if you come across another service that you're interested in integrating with, let me know, and we'll see if it's possible to do something like that. But I was going to send it over to Mary. Hold on. Okay.
Okay. Okay, you guys are seeing Honeycomb, right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so Mark's question was, can you see the session by customer? serial number. So let's see, we were in sessions. And then you just want to see like maybe the count of sessions by serial number, like how many times the same person was in here. Then you could just do count, actually a count of sessions grouped by serial number. And then you can see that there was one session. So if John closes the program and reruns it.
Yes, which I just did. Hold on one sec. Here we go. Okay, so I just ran it again.
Then theoretically, it would have gotten a new session ID. Maybe go into something. Did you?
Yeah, I went into a couple procedures.
There we go. It just hadn't triggered yet. So now you can see this moved from 1 to 2. We have 2 counts for this particular serial number. So you could build that up. You could put it in a, you could add date range or, whatever it is you wanted to add. You could add to the query. So I'll show you a couple. So this is just one query. We just ran it on the fly. And this isn't saved anywhere. This is just a query. If you came back in here, you'd have to click here and select, your count distinct again and add these things. But if you want to be able to run it again, then you get to title it. So we'll say sessions by serial number. And then you have to save it to a board. Board is just a collection of queries. So we will add it to a board and we'll create a new board called Analyze.It demo. And you can do a list or a visual. I usually like visual boards, but a list is just kind of a list of queries you might want to run. Visual will show the charts on it. Actually, I'll do a list because the other ones I created are visual, so you can see the difference. And then this caption is just what's going to display. So. All right, and so then if you want to go back to your boards, you can see now we have this board Analyze.It demo that we just created. There could be a bunch of things here, but there's only one thing right now, which is the sessions by serial number. And so you can easily have your collection all together and you can go back and run it anytime you want. So I made a few queries just, I'm not an expert on Honeycomb, but just trying to think of the things that I would be interested in seeing, trying to understand how people use our program and, maybe check for errors or issues that we were unaware of having. So, so here's this board I called the activity at a glance. And I thought, well, I might want to see what procedures people are in the most. Maybe those would be the places I want to focus on, making sure they're running smoothly or quickly, or they have a nice, updated visual appearance or whatnot. So these are just the top 10 use procedures. Or I might want to know how many concurrent sessions I have for my one app. So if we all of a sudden we see that we're getting a bunch of GPFs, I could see maybe, oh, well, there's 1,000 people in it and all of a sudden we're crashing. Maybe we're having some issues, with overwhelming the server or something. Yeah. This one shouldn't be here. Then this one, let's see, I'll close this. So, or a license check. I'm going to go into this one because I'm going to change the duration because I played with data a little while ago. So I'm going to run it for 8 hours. So you can see that here's our license key, and it's doing account distinct on your IP address. And I'm seeing that for this program, we're only supposed to have 1 user per license, but at this hour, I had 2 people, 2 different IP addresses using my same license key. That might be something I need to follow up on with the customer. Here, I'm just looking at what versions of our program are out there. This type of thing I think would be super useful for GPF, kind of grouping, your GPFs on version number, because there's no point in going back and fixing GPFs from older versions that you've already resolved. Also easy to filter out older versions then, because you're only going to be looking for the one version number. We were looking at some workstation info, like screen sizes. We were for our program looking to see if have our customer screen sizes increased, so that we can code our visual screens to a larger standard, or do we still have to make them small for their smaller monitors? Mark said, I created the 3 data sets in my app, compiled and ran my app. I'm in Honeycomb. How do I see my data sets in Honeycomb for the first time? Okay, so over on the left-hand side would be data sets here once you log in. And then this will be the list of whatever data sets you just created. And when you click on the name, it'll bring you to the query window where you can start to play with the data. You have to run the query before you'll see any data. So first run it, and then you can see the raw data here. And if you make any aggregates, then you can see them show up in graphs. Mark is saying he's not seeing his data set in the list. Should I log out and back in again? Well,
I'm not sure that would do anything with the honeycomb side. Make sure you have the right API key put in to the program. And beyond that, I don't know what would keep it from doing anything. We can always share your screen too and take a look at it and help you in a minute.
yeah. Rich is asking which demo app, or is it your own, Mark? Maybe we can open Mark's mic if he's available, and
We can. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about on the queries here or on the
I don't
boards?
know. I don't think so. Unless anyone has any questions. I mean, these are just some examples of things I thought, might be helpful. But it's really like, analyzing data is very much about how you satisfying a need that you have, right?
Right.
Trying to
Exactly.
understand what people are doing, if you're going to GPF where it's coming from, if you're doing new features, are they using it? If they're not, or how many people are using it? How long are they in it for? Do they use it once and never again, or do they use it over and over? And so just kind of, just analyzing stuff based on need. These are just examples, but there's probably a million ways you could write a query to think of it. So,
There you go. There's a start.
yeah.
All right. Well, let's see. Let's open up Mark's mic. Maybe we can look at his screen and then see what we're missing. Okay, Mark, you need yourself muted now so you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, cool. Let's see. I'm kind of a newbie at this sharing the screen and everything, so I need you to help
Yep,
me.
I'll get you there. So hold on a second. So I'm going to make you the presenter. So a little window will pop up to share your screen if you have multiple monitors. Oh, well, you're on the right
Yeah.
one. Okay, looks good.
Oh, this is so which screen are you seeing right now?
I see your Honeycomb IO screen right now.
Okay, so let me first I'll maybe show you my app settings
Okay.
to can you see that?
Sure can.
Okay, so we'll just go to the OnoSoft and okay, I'm gonna close the app. That's why it had an issue. Okay, so I've got the Honeycomb and I've got my API key in there with the quotes.
Okay.
Common data, I entered pretty much like what you'd shown me. So
Mhm.
serial number, data sets, I entered, the things that you'd done. So
That's right.
procedures, same, and workstations, same.
Okay.
I did a trackers called My Azure Trackers. The APTs, I did just actually, every time I see a webinar, I'm buying things. So I ordered the GPM tracker now. Oh my gosh, Merry Christmas. But I have unticked it here. So that's okay?
Yeah, that's fine
Okay.
because you don't have
Yeah, and then I did
global
this.
request.
Right. I think that was all I needed to do. Is that correct?
Yeah. Go back to
Okay.
the settings on the very first screen real quick.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, looks good.
All right. So now we'll go ahead and just compile it real quick. So this should then do
It should
its
run and create data.
analyze it. Yeah, analyze it magic.
It should.
Yeah, it's going to be cool at what it does. I guess I'm even further away from understanding Honeycomb, but I think I could see the benefits of it. So that's why I'm jumping in and saying when I saw your demo with Andy and how you were using it, I think that's something I really need to start out with and introduce right off when I put the product out there. So
Yeah, with queries, we can help with that.
yeah,
If we do one of these sessions like once a month or something, that's when we could help with those kinds of things.
right. Yeah, and I think as long as I can get the data over there once, or just see these data sets listed,
Yeah.
I'm more than happy. That'll be the fun part of seeing the results with this. So.
Yeah, I can't think of why it would not show up over there. So
Yeah. Okay, so it's compiling. We can go to my Honeycomb
you can go back.
back here. So here's where I'm
Yeah,
at, and
it says you're
it's
waiting
in
for the data.
yeah. Data sets, nothing yet. So we'll
Yeah,
wait.
it's still compiling. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's a big one.
Yeah, it is a big one. Good thing I'm not running it on my virtual machine because it takes even longer.
It's quite a large. It's quite a large
Yeah,
app, isn't it?
yeah, it is. It is. I've been told to break it out into multiple DLLs, but I don't have the experience in doing that. But I've got a couple of developers that are starting to help me that um, they have the experience. I've got a server now set up so that I've got one spot where the team of folks we can all get into at the same time instead of my machine. So
Okay. Yeah, it's not. It's just a process, to
yeah,
break things down in the DLLs. The hardest thing is figuring out what calls what and trying not to get circular references, and
right.
sometimes that can get a little difficult. But the mechanics of it are pretty straightforward.
Hmm. Did you want to go to more presentation while this is compiling and then come back to me, or do you mind waiting?
Well, it's almost done. We don't have any other
Good.
questions.
Okay.
Well, here, Rich, I think, Rich, you can unmute yourself and yeah,
Okay, how's that?
sure.
I was just going to share that if it was my choice, I would be using Honeycomb. I mentioned earlier, John mentioned that I was sending data to our own API server that one of our other programmers wrote. The only reason for that is our customers are government agencies, and they can be quite particular about what happens with their data. And we just didn't want to say, yes, the data is also shipped to this place, you know. So that's the only reason, is the government agencies and what the stuff we have to go through to handle their data.
Right. There's something about the honeycomb data too. You can make it private, but there's also public data too, and I'm not sure what the differences are really, or how to set one. But I noticed that they have settings for public and private data. But that might be within, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, some of the agencies will ask us a lot of questions about the data warehouse,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
where it's located and all kinds of things.
How secure it is, what you're collecting, maybe that kind of thing.
So if we use the same server that we're using for our products, then it helps cut down those RFPs that we fill out.
Especially
Looks like
considering the big data breach we just had with the government, right? I mean, geez, all
looks
those
like it's
places.
compiled up almost there.
Yeah, I've
Just
got a
did good.
question, John, on I see this as something that's a positive to the customer or the customers that we would be considering my solution. How is that something, I don't know how to present that, or, put that on the website and say, we're so serious about support that we go, with extra
Proactive.
technology.
Yeah, it makes you proactive on things.
Yeah.
If you start seeing GPFs, you can contact them. If I don't know if you're using SQL or not, but you can monitor the free space on the SQL server, so you can get an idea if they're getting, like we use the free version of SQL Server with the
Okay.
11 gigabyte limit.
Mm,
And so if we see the customers getting up to like 10, then we
right.
might want to contact them and say, we need to trim out some data or do something along those lines. You can monitor workstation free memory. Maybe that's getting up too high, things like that. So yeah, this can help you to be proactive on reaching out to your customers on
Yeah.
different issues.
Yeah, that's what I see. And yeah, I haven't gotten to SQL yet. This is still a TPS based app, but that is definitely the direction that I want. I have people that have asked what's the database they want SQL.
Honeycomb is kind of neat too, because even on the free version, you can add triggers to shoot you an email or something based on a condition. So like we do SQL, one of the things we do is install, any updated SQL objects on a new version update. And so we could put a tracker on an error of the SQL update or on the installation and say, something went wrong with this installation, get a email to the support immediately and have them, create a ticket from it. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause it can go in
Yeah.
any format you want, and then have them call the customer right away. Like a lot of kind of interesting things you can do with data.
Hmm. Yeah.
The free version I think lets you have 2 triggers.
Mm.
The next step up is like $100 a month, and then you get like unlimited triggers. But I'd rather use the free version
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
Although really, depending on the size of your customers, $100 a month probably isn't that bad,
Hmm.
especially
Well,
the
I mean, if it
value of the
makes you make
data.
a sale, then it probably is,
Yeah.
it's paid for itself, right?
Yeah, exactly. I've got all these warnings someday they just popped up. The more templates I seem to add, the more warnings. I may want to ask this question up in one of the weekly webinars after the new year to, because I've had Bruce come into my machine a couple of times and he said, he's very particular and clean about the code, and I agree, but most of these things are coming up because I've added additional templates, so I'm not quite sure. I haven't looked at it yet.
Yeah. Sometimes Sometimes there's a way to turn it off in a
Hmm.
template. You know, if it's a
Yeah.
specific type of thing that where they've gotten errors before. Like some of those might be SV equates and it's bumping up against a third party where they
Hmm.
find the same names or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the same problem. Like max path, that's an SV thing,
Hmm.
pretty sure. It'll speed up your compiles
Yeah, exactly.
a little bit.
Yeah. Yay, it's made it.
All right.
Coming to a webinar near us. Let's see. All right, so I could just close the background here. So my app is up, and I can, let's say, go into something simple, or I don't have a record, but I can add one here.
It should have a session up right now, and you should have some procedures that it went into and out of.
Okay, so we'll just save this. All right, so we've done that. Now we can go in and see Honeycomb, right?
Yeah.
Here we are. I can refresh this. Data
Yeah, if
sets.
you just click on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so why aren't you sending? It's got to be sending it somewhere.
Yeah.
We can
We don't have a firewall or anything trying to block our communication, right?
I don't have anything. No, I'm just straight on my PC to the internet.
do you Yeah, I don't really have the error reporting is kind of in debug. Do you have debug viewer by chance?
Debug view, is that a template?
Well, Ultimate Debug is a free thing, but there's a
Right.
viewer. You would have Debug View plus plus, or you would have the Ultimate Debug Viewer. Do you have either of those?
I have the Clarion, the one tool set that we looked at, Ultimate Debug. I have it in here.
Okay, so you should have the viewer then, because it came with the install.
I've
So
never used it before, kind of. But so I mean, what would you like me to do?
we need to find the viewer. So it's in your Clarion folder.
Okay.
Should be in the Clarion folder. Look under third party. I'm not sure where I install it. Let me look at my install and see where I put it.
That's why I stuck around and watched you and Andy yesterday, because it teaches me so much about debugging. There's occasions that things come up, and it just teaches me a lot about how to think about looking at what. But do you guys really know how to use those tools?
I'll be back in 1 sec. I gotta look up on
Okay.
another machine.
Tools.
Okay, so
there's an error I know I caused.
so there should be a Clarion Live folder somewhere.
Let's see. So there's Clarion 11.
Yeah, I see that. Look, go back a folder. Oh, you're in that folder. Okay.
Yeah. Did you want to take control of my screen, or?
Well, I don't know what good it would do
All
yet.
right. Yeah. Or
Is
we
it under
could
vendors or?
Try access and did we look in accessory folder yet? Try that.
accessory. There's vendor, Cape Soft, Lanzerhead.
Yeah, it's not gonna be there.
Um,
Okay. Yeah, we kind of need to see why
yeah.
it's not going there.
Well, why don't we do this? I'll take what I do have and see through my time spent. If I do have questions, I can email them off. No need to hold all the rest of the folks up. Um,
Can.
do we?
Well, I don't mind. We can also hook up later too. You
Yeah.
connect up, but I can help you just individually and get it
Okay.
figured out. Why
Yeah.
don't you, can you go to clarionlive.com?
Okay.
Yeah, it's not sending it or something's failing. So we can figure out what.
Rich is suggesting to look inside the Clarion IDE on the tools menu, see if it installed itself
Oh,
there.
the
Might
Clarion
have
IDE in the tools. So Clarion IDE, the tools,
the tools. Look under there's CapeSoft tools. Look under help at the top there.
under help.
Yeah, and
Okay.
accessory. Nope, we're there. There's our help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure that the Clarion Live Utilities installs anything in the IDE.
Okay.
I think we
Hmm.
maybe second entry under tools. What do you see?
Let's see. Tools.
Oh, hello.
Oh, it's right there.
Oh, there it is.
It's right. Hey, there
Okay.
you go.
There we go. Oh,
Rich, you're the
external.
man.
But it's-
Yeah. So tools.
Not quite running, but okay. Hold on a
Yeah, it's
second.
not. Yeah. Let's see. External program execution fail. Starting. Oh,
You can't
because
find it. You must have
it
changed.
wasn't.
Something must have changed along.
Yeah, this is one of my developer buddies that was working, so he probably had it in there, but um, and I've moved that folder. That's on my virtual machine. Like the entire
Yeah.
environment's on my virtual machine, so that probably would work up there. But
Okay.
yeah,
All right. Well, let's go ahead. Basically, what we'll do is just download the installer from clarionlive.com.
okay,
Then you can just install it here, and then it will have the viewer, and then we can go from there.
okay, great. Let's see. Do you want me to shut my IDE?
You don't have to.
Okay, so go to. Oops, didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, we can just hang here for a few minutes. Andy
Okay,
spent
cool.
like 3 hours with me yesterday on his
Yeah.
on his support webinar.
Yeah, I know. He did really good. I had to go after a few, but I stayed for the two, yeah. So we'll go to Clarion Live. Okay,
Go to at the top, scroll up,
okay.
go to other,
Other, okay,
utilities,
okay,
Clarion Live Utility Pack.
okay.
Yeah, just
Utility
download
pack,
that. Uh-huh.
okay.
Got to code sign that thing, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, you can go ahead and just run it.
okay. Open.
Isn't that weird how they hide that?
I know, yeah. Yeah, one of the,
So
yeah,
sneaky, right?
I know. I'm finding it a lot, they've actually gotten a lot more specific, and even major vendors are saying Microsoft is stopping them from installing without the warning message. So I don't.
Okay, so is that your folder, I guess, Clarion 11?
Yeah, Clarion
Okay,
11.
okay.
Put it in here. Public documents. It's okay.
That's fine. It's just examples. Okay, so you could just pick the ultimate debug. You could uncheck everything else.
Okay, so we'll just put it all in. Shouldn't hurt, right?
No.
Yeah, I did have shot you that one email. I know that registering the Analyze.It template is still the process I have to do. I know that you said it was in Setup Builder, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it wouldn't be. You might have to make sure you're out of Clarion completely. Maybe that's You know, if you're in Clarion, maybe it's not doing it.
Yeah. So do you want me to exit here now, or should that tool
You can
be
stay there because we don't necessarily care to update the template at this point.
okay? So
So
where
let's
would you
just
like?
go to the folder,
Okay.
the Clarion 11 folder. Well, actually, it should be on your toolbar now. It should be the right one. Let's go back to your IDE and see if it comes off the IDE.
Okay. Now under tools,
Yeah.
ultimate view. No,
Yeah, darn it. Why didn't it update that? Huh.
maybe I need to shut it, close the
Yeah, that's probably why, because it has to be loaded in.
yeah. Keep my app closed or open it
Yeah, that's
and
fine. Yeah, try it and see if it's up there.
tools. Ultimate debugger. There you go.
Ah,
Look at
there we
that.
go. All right.
This.
Well, we got
Now,
this far.
yeah. Now we're in a webinar.
Okay, so you can, I don't know if you have two monitors or not. You can put this on the other monitor.
Yeah, I do have. I have
All right.
3.
So go ahead and just run your program
Okay.
and we'll look at the debug and see what's coming out over there.
Okay. So we do have.
Paul has a question. While oh, you got a few things coming. It's interesting because there's not much there.
So are you thinking that your template would show things up in here?
I think so. I might have to turn it on in my template
Okay.
and get to you.
Okay.
I'm interested. It's in. Oh, I know it. I know what's going on here. Okay.
Mm.
You have Ultimate Debug installed, so it's going to show you all the procedures you go into and out of here.
Okay.
So that's kind of neat.
Oh, so as I go into, yeah. Okay.
Yep. Well, we
Great.
know the viewer's working.
Yeah, that's great.
Paul had a quick question. Let me answer his question really
Sure.
quickly, and then we can get back to you. Okay, so Paul's saying, does anyone know if we legally need to disclose the use of this info and or allow users to opt out of tracking? I'm planning on mentioning it in my license, which no one reads anyway. Is there a way to globally something? Oh, globally disable if needed. Okay, yes, there is a way to globally disable it. So it's really up to you how you want to handle it. You can have people opt out if that's your preference. I did kind of what you're thinking. I just put it in my license and I said that, you know, we collect certain data. It's pretty much anonymous data. We're not going to collect, you know, their customer names or anything like that. We're just collecting data about their about how the program's running. You know, it's actually probably less data than is collected when they browse the internet. We're collecting some way to identify what company it's running from, and that's really, I don't know if that's considered personal information because you could just be getting a serial number and not any names at all. Excuse me. If you're using the Win event, you're getting the workstation name, which could have the person's name in there. But I just don't see that as readily identifiable. You know, it might be something, the way people are getting about privacy, it might be, depending on your market and who your customers are, you might want to tell them, you know, give a full disclosure type thing and say, if you really don't want us to collect this, just turn it off. But, you know, we think it's a way to improve our customer service toward you and whatever. In my opinion, with our customers anyway, we just require it. And if they don't want us to collect that data, then they can purchase another piece of software. That's just the way I feel about it. You know, it's because it's businesses that we're dealing with, and we want to know, you know, if they're having issues, we want to know so we can fix it. That's really, you know, the bottom line on that. So kind
So
of up
there
to
is a
you, but there
template
is,
saving. So there is
yeah,
a template setting to turn on or off the tracking based on a variable. So you could have that variable be something that your user can interact with.
right, exactly. Rich has a suggestion for checking your temp folder. Rich, I'll let you explain that. He's,
Oh,
um,
all right.
I'll let you explain it.
A while back, I was running into a problem with something being slow, and I had a whole bunch of temp files out in my Windows folder. So I found to get Clarion working again, I have to go to the temp folder and erase it. And I was going to give you some instructions that we've used before in a webinar if you want.
Yeah, sure. Are you suggesting that for my problem might be related to that temp?
For being slow and drive C being almost out of space,
Yeah.
go to the Windows Start menu down at the
Okay.
bottom and click it. And in the search, oh, okay, it's going to be in the search magnifying glass. Put in CMD, enter, and then CD space %, TEMP %, enter, DIR space star. Not too bad.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah. Okay.
You
There's
just see that there's a lot of stuff there. There's a lot of directories.
it's
I
like
mean, there might be stuff in the directories though.
when when you get at Clarion has temporary files it uses. Maybe it was only in reporting. I don't remember every place it was slow, but
No, it'll
it's
clog
not.
it up.
Mm.
Yeah.
It was
Mm.
thousands of files that I had out
Mm.
there. So never mind.
Mm. Well,
Mhm.
thank you for that suggestion, though. I'll definitely keep a watch on this.
Let's go back to, I feel like you should be getting some messages here from Analyze It.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to the Clarion and your application.
Okay.
Okay. See where it says tree mode on the right? Change it from procedure to module.
Okay.
Okay. At the very top, it says default program. Actually, not the very top. It's right underneath the
Oh, we're right here. Yeah.
bar. Yeah. Right click and module source file.
Okay.
Press Control F
Control F.
and type AZI
AZI.
and find all
Okay. Then click.
at the bottom, at the bottom button.
Okay.
Yeah, find, there it is. Okay. Okay, so it scrolls at the search results at the bottom. Scroll down on that one.
Oh, down this here.
Yeah, going down past all the file stuff. Okay, hold it right there.
Oops.
Pick up.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, double click where it says begin Analyze It process, which is yeah, there you go. Okay, there was another one down there. Oh,
I'll
did you
go
clear
back.
it? Did you clear them? That's okay.
Well, I double clicked and then it just came up.
I think it just switched the tab to the output.
Oh,
So
okay.
on the very
Oh,
bottom, just
click on
Oh,
search results then at the bottom.
let's see. Search results. Okay. Got it. Okay.
Okay.
So I want to click this
Click on the
one.
one that's like 1, 2, 3, 3, 3. A little bit further
1,
down, right
2.
there. There you go.
Okay.
All right, hold on just a sec. All right, just scroll down just a little bit. Keep going. It looks like it's calling what it's supposed to. Keep going. Oh, there's a lot of that stuff in there. Yeah, get past all that. That's Sequin. I guess that's what that is.
Yeah. It's everywhere. Oops. Do you want me to go?
Yeah, you can keep going.
I'll keep going.
Okay, hold it. Here we go. I just want to see if it's, I mean, everything looks like it's defined. Scroll down a little bit more and analyze it. Yep. Yep. Keep going. Start processing. Okay.
Hmm.
That would be interesting if it's being blocked. Okay, let's go. You could close the CLW.
Okay.
Everything's generating correctly. Let's try turning off your firewall
All
and then
right.
run the program, and then
Help me do
see
that.
if you
Where
go
do we-
back down to the search glass at the bottom left
Okay.
toolbar there and type firewall. There you go, and the Windows Defender firewall at the top.
Okay.
There. This will at least eliminate this. So on the left it says turn Windows Defender firewall on or off.
Right. Click it.
And just turn them both off.
So
Two of them, just turn them both.
where do we turn that off? It says,
Where that big
turn
red.
off right here. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
We're gonna turn them back on in a minute, so it should be fine.
So it's off now, or yeah.
Hit OK. Hit OK. Okay. Now, yeah, now they're both off and they're gonna be all like cranky at you, but that's all right. Now
Yeah.
go ahead and just run your program.
Okay.
You don't have to recompile it, just run it.
No. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And then we can check on the web and you should have a session.
Oh, it's not right. Honeycomb.
And just click on data sets there. Being cranky.
Cranky, yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
You don't have any, do you have any other antivirus software or anything? Or it's already, I assume things are, do you connect out to other APIs and stuff through your program? So we know it can get out?
Oh yeah. There is yeah. Well, no, the one that I was using is, I do the maps. I do SMS
Okay.
to see if the SMS is send Twilio.
I'm just
connect.
assuming if it can connect
Yeah.
up through,
Yeah,
it'll.
I could connect to the Twilio and send a message.
So it's not getting blocked by antivirus or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's
So that's
going out to that. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna put some debugs in the class and we'll see what it's doing.
You can turn this back on.
Yeah, turn it back on. Oops.
Yeah, picked up that SMS.
So you stumped the band, huh?
Oh my gosh, sorry. It seems like this is the story of my life. The story of my development life. It's we go through our whole careers and something comes up that you go, what? My sons hear a lot of the brunt of my frustration, like, what the heck is going on? Dad, why are you upset? Because something's happening. I can't explain it.
Yeah, that's just the nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me a second here and I'll get a couple debugs in here, make sure they're working, and then I'll give you a
Okay.
class. We'll update it and then we'll see
Okay.
if it's doing what it's supposed to do. Hmm. We need to figure out how to get this over to you.
Yeah. All my sons are probably laughing. What's Dad testing the program? So I sent all those messages to them. Sample
Oh,
my tester base.
all right, give me a second to check, make sure that the debugs are coming through on my end, and then I'll send this over to you.
Okay.
Okay, looks good over here.
Rich is suggesting maybe to copy the API key from Honeycomb to a notepad off screen and copy the API key from the template and put it next to each other so you know really 100% sure they are actually the same.
Okay. Let's go to Honeycomb.
You can pause your screen too. There's a
Oh
button
yeah.
for pausing it. Looks
I
like a
could
big
take it
play,
off. I can take it off
play
the
button.
screen.
Yeah, you can actually freeze your screen so we can't see anything at all.
Okay.
It's on the go to webinar control panel. It says show at the top. It's like a big play button. If you click it, it'll be turned to a pause button.
Oh yeah.
Or maybe it's a pause and it's,
Oh yeah. It stopped sharing.
well, I can see you now.
Oh, there you
I
go.
turned the webcam on for a second.
That's scary. Okay. Oh,
I
that's
get
share
this.
my webcam. Okay. All right. Well, I pulled it off the screen here so I can
Yeah, that's fine. Just do it over
do
there.
it from here. All right. So the suggestion is I'll create a text document and we'll open that. We'll take my API key. Where on, no, where on the Honeycomb do I, let's see, is it on the top? Oh
Go.
yeah, it is. Okay.
If you go to your account.
Yeah, it's on, it was the top one. Yeah. So we'll
Yeah.
cut and paste that here. Paste. Now I'll go to my app. We'll go here, global extensions.
Yeah, for those wondering, to see your Honeycomb API key, you go on the left side at the very bottom is where you've logged in.
Yeah.
And you click on it, it's like a little bumblebee. You click on that, then you click on my account, and that takes you right to your API key.
Okay. Let's see. We have tab. Let's see. Let's do Control V. And take out the quotes so they line up. And yeah, it's exact. Thank you for that suggestion. So that the key's been verified.
Key is working.
Yeah.
Why don't you try my key?
Okay.
And we'll see if it comes into our data over here. I need to get you the key though.
Okay. Do you want to just send it to me over the email, or is there a way of doing it in?
I could send it to you on email, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you on Skype?
Oh no, I'm not. I do,
No?
but
Okay.
yeah, I'm not on it right now.
Okay. Okay, Mark.
Well, I'm glad I asked the question. I'm sorry it's taking.
No, that's fine. I'm going to attach the class to this too,
Okay.
so we can get some debug information.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a second to figure that one out. I appreciate your time here.
Well, thank you very much.
I figure if someone has a problem, someone else is going to have a problem.
Yeah.
They'll have the same
Well,
problem. So we figure
yeah.
it out for you. We'll get it figured out for others.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. And I just thought to ask it since I had followed you along. I said, oh, if I could just see the data, then I could check that off saying, oh, it's working, then come back to it later to analyze it. But I just wanted to make sure. So thank you. This is great.
Okay, Mark, so here you go. So I sent the email, it's got an attachment.
You sent that to Mark at Measure?
I sent it to those, I guess. Let me see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, our key. So I'll put that in copy, paste, and put the quotes around it. Okay, so the key is in. Now
Okay.
you've added a CLW. You want me to, I'll save this to,
Yeah. So you want to, I can tell you where to copy that over to.
okay, I'm going to put that on my desktop. Okay, here it showed up. Okay, where would you like me to put that?
That needs to be in your Clarion 11 folder under accessory and libsource.
Clarion 11, libsource.
Accessory. No, accessory first.
Oh, accessory.
Right.
Okay.
And then libsource.
Okay, libsource.
Right there. In Win.
Oh, in Win. Okay.
Okay. Yep. Copy it over. Yep.
Okay.
All right. And then you're gonna have to recompile.
Recompile.
Well, let's run your program first and see if the API key makes a difference.
Okay.
Oh wait, you still have to recompile. Duh. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, recompile.
I'm a lemming. I'm a lemming. Listen, I'll follow you.
Do this. Don't do that. Don't do this.
Yeah. Okay.
This is how I work too. Start
Okay.
this. No, not that. Okay.
Yeah.
So this will take a few minutes. Paul had a
Yeah.
comment. I'm going to open up Paul's mic. Okay, Paul, you can unmute yourself. No, Mike. Should always come to a webinar with a mic. All right, so Paul's saying, was asking if you have a different DNS service, one that protects you. So he was just asking if, there's something external basically that might be stopping it.
Yeah, no, I just have straight up Cox Communications Internet. Yeah.
usual stuff.
Yeah, the
And then he
regular.
says he just did his first GPF report. So there you go.
Oh, cool.
Paul's working.
Nice. Congrats, Paul.
Now this is a curious thing. I want to kind of figure
Mhm.
this out because I haven't had any other reports of it not sending.
Mhm.
So I want to figure out what it is.
Mhm. Yeah, thanks.
For those who haven't purchased yet, the sale is still on until the 23rd.
Yeah,
Is that right?
tomorrow.
Till tomorrow. Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's still beta, as you can tell, because we're still fixing things.
So is my program, though.
We
Look
didn't,
at it.
there's no like global extensions that were disabled or anything, right? When we,
Mm. No, all my,
Thanks.
yeah, everything is
is enabled.
enabled. Yeah, and I'm up to date on all the latest. And I'm gonna now. I will probably make my investment into your update it too, because it is just so time consuming to update the templates. So yeah, I'll
I
put
did
that on the server.
I did the Noyantis templates just
Great.
this weekend, and it went very quickly.
That's great.
Andy was here. He's not here now, but I need to work with him so we can do silent
Mhm.
installs. Because CapeSoft does silent installs. I just click one button and it just does it. It doesn't prompt me for
Wow,
anything. But
that's
Andy
great.
still prompts me, so I have to copy the serial number and paste it in, and then click through it.
Mhm.
Still
Yeah.
saved me a bunch of time because I didn't have to download anything. I didn't,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
just ran it and it just went boom, boom, boom. But yeah, it's just a small tweak to his. Actually, he might not have to tweak his installs at all. I just need to find out the variables he's using, and then I can plug them into the updated one. And the one thing that we don't update is Analyze.It.
Hmm.
It
Okay.
doesn't. It will. It
Uh-huh.
will. But I have to do a little bit of coding because it has to check to see if your subscription's current, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And so I have to do that kind of a quick call. Andy's is the same way. I have to call a PHP script to make sure
Hmm.
that you're current before you can download. So I just
Do
haven't
you
had the time to do that.
do
So it
you have
will.
your own subscription? Like I was going to be using CapeSoft's secure online server
Mhm.
for my registrations and licensing and things like that. Do you use something similar to that, or you have your own?
For these subscriptions, we just use WordPress, and then there's
Okay.
a plugin called MemberPress.
Hmm.
But we just let them do the whole thing because it's, we have two payments now, PayPal and Stripe that we
Right.
signed up for, and it just integrates with them. It took us, you know, 15 minutes to set up the subscriptions and be able to collect payments and all that kind of thing. So it was
Wow.
well worth it. I think it cost a couple $100 for the plugin.
That'd be a great
Yeah,
webinar
they're pretty
to see
cheap.
how to do that.
Yeah, I
It
feel like
connects to a lot of third parties too, like it goes into MailChimp, so our
Mhm.
newsletters are always up to date with our customers and all that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, there's people are just doing this stuff where you don't have to write a bunch of stuff anymore.
Yeah,
I don't want to know how to interface with
I
PayPal.
know. Yeah,
I
me
don't want
too.
to have to learn that. You know,
Yeah.
someone else knows how to do that.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was a good find, that MemberPress thing.
So
I think it's
member,
really easy to use, actually. I'm
really,
very happy with that. Yeah.
yeah, with my new server, I can now put up a web, what do you call it? Web press? No, WordPress.
WordPress.
Yeah, the WordPress.
Mhm.
Yeah, does MemberPress have I think they had a trial on it, didn't they? Didn't we test it before we bought it? I think we did.
Mm.
I don't remember.
I feel like we came across a good sale. They had a Black Friday thing that
Mm. Okay.
we did pretty good with.
Yeah, I mean the basic version is $150 a year, so
Okay.
it's
Oh yeah,
pretty
that's not bad.
inexpensive, I think.
So how do you turn on and off so I'm a member and I subscribe and I didn't pay, let's say, and how does it work where I don't get the updates anymore? Is it that connection to I run my app? Because I have, yeah, so how would that work? I wouldn't be able to get into them to download them.
Yeah, it's all automated. So you set your you put your downloads. You just attach a rule to your download page that says you
Okay.
have to be a subscriber to this particular service.
Okay.
And MemberPress handles recurring billing and
Hmm.
everything for you. So if it tries to bill and it doesn't get receive payment, then
Right.
it ends your subscription on the end date and you can no longer access the
Okay.
download page. Yeah.
Yeah. See,
It
I've
just does it
built,
all it just works, which is like the
yeah,
best part about it. You don't have to
that's
think
right.
about it. It just does it all for you.
Yeah. See, I use CapeSoft's Updated, which really works
Hmm.
nice so that when I, every time a customer will come online, it goes and checks and says there's one available, downloaded. So that's how I'm going to want to sync that somehow to connect to saying, well, if you have the 60 days, you get it 60 days for free. And then it's checking for, expiration.
Do they do the safe update? Does that do expiration checking? Or is
No,
it
it doesn't.
something, so it's something you got to add? I wonder if the
Yeah.
second one will plug into that. I don't know.
Yeah. I talked to Andy and Andy said um, he was looking at something, but where it could go to the secure online server, which is hosted by CapeSoft, or I host it myself, which would have all the licensing subscriptions or registrations,
Mm.
um, and then could check that, and then it could go out to PayPal or whatever to see if they made their payments. So, man, I don't want it to be too complicated. I like what you just described as pay a subscription and you can't get to the updates, but I use that update it. I'd have
Right.
to detect somehow. Um,
Well, you could still use the member press to do all that subscribing and stuff. They have a callback
mm,
API. So
okay,
it could what it does is when you subscribe, it sends me a thing that says you subscribed to my web server,
okay,
and then I mark your record that you're good, you're active,
great.
basically. And that's all I
Okay.
said. I just say you're
Oh,
active. And then
okay.
if you don't subscribe, it sends me, like if you just let it expire, I get a
Yeah.
notice from them that says they've expired, and then I set it as not active. And so I
Okay.
don't track dates or anything on the website. I just say they're active, they're not active.
Mm,
So if you did that, if you got the callbacks and let them
yeah.
handle all the payments and the recurrings and all the extra stuff, then that's all you'd have to check. Say, is this
Right.
active or not? They'd send
That's
you
great.
when they log in, they'd send up a thing. You take their key and match it up, retrieve it. It says active. Yep, go ahead. And if it
Yeah.
said not active, send a message say, hey,
Yeah.
we noticed that you've expired.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that could work out pretty well. So it does have
Yeah.
that interaction with you where it still is handling all the back end stuff, and you're
Yeah.
just worried about am I active or am I not? And that's what I do with update it. It says,
Hmm.
you're this person's active. This
Yeah.
person's
Okay.
all
So
right. Let's look at the
we
debug.
have we have active activity. So we'll go to debug, um, which is over on this
It's a
screen.
little hour. Yeah, it's on it. Yeah, okay, you got it. All right, scroll down. Error. Here you go. Unable to open connection to API Honeycomb. So that's our problem.
Uh,
Can't open a connection to it. So we're being blocked with something.
hmm. Does my app have to be registered, or is it just that
No.
Honeycomb API key? That should be it, right?
Yeah, it's just trying to connect. Okay, so usually that's a firewall, but we turned off the firewalls.
Hmm.
We turn them back on. If you turn it off again and redo it, will it move it along in
Yeah.
the process?
Yeah, let's see if that's the
Try it.
sure. Let's turn it back off.
Alejandro is suggesting to try to check with the net demo and see if you have the same problem.
Yeah, we can do
Oh,
that
in the
too.
demo.
One of our demos.
Yeah.
Oh, or just even, yeah,
We'll just,
I mean, you
that
could
talk
just,
demo.
I mean, you can just check with one of the demos that we distributed and see if it connects to.
So just scroll down. Same thing. Unable to open connection.
yeah. Hmm.
I could send you the demo that we've been using
Okay.
if it will let me.
Yeah.
Mary, I sent you that zip yesterday, right? Okay, let me just send that over.
Mhm.
And that just
Yeah.
worked, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see if I can mail it to you. Sometimes they don't like it when I'll just put a
Hmm.
different extension on the back of it, but
Okay.
we sent through Gmail and Gmail's been able to catch some of these things.
Yeah.
Rich is asking if the .pem file is in place.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. It's security thing.
Yeah. You know, I want to
Certificate.
I want to mention that when you did your first webinar and sent out saying download this and everybody run it, I did participate in that and it worked.
And it did work. Okay.
Yeah, because I saw my app up there, Miser, and I went through a couple things. So if that helps, but the PEM thing I'm not familiar with.
All right. Well, let's try this. And if this works, then it is something in your app we're gonna have to figure out maybe it's a setting or something. Okay, I'm gonna change this to. I used to be able to just change. I don't know if this can work. Oh, I know what I'll do if it doesn't.
Rich is suggesting to copy the SSL related files from the ASI demo.
Okay, we can try that. Yeah, it won't let me send this zip file.
Oh.
Just rename it to .txt or something and send it.
They scan the files now.
Oh, are
Wow.
Yeah, I changed it to ZP and it
they? Stick it in your OneDrive and give them a link.
that was my next one. Yeah, that was what I was gonna do. Yep, scan it for sure. Do you want to help him copy the files over while I do this? Although, yeah, if you go to your Clarion 11 folder,
Okay.
and accessory and examples,
Examples. Okay.
analyze it, pick any one of those demos, and we'll just copy over. Scroll down.
Here.
No, it's going to be below all the AN files.
All right, Rich, I'll let you help him now.
Okay,
While I
yeah,
get this up.
scroll down to the bottom of the list.
Okay.
Okay, go up a little bit. Okay, starting right there. CA root.pem.
Yes.
And then I'm going down the list, DH2 2048. Do a control click on CA root.pem.
Okay.
Control click then the DH 2048.
Okay.
Just to be sure we're on the same versions, control click on the two.
Oops, I'm sorry. Okay.
Click on the two LIB DLLs to make sure we're on the same version. LIB, no, LIB, yeah,
This one
those
here?
two. Yeah, those two. Then open SSL. we'll have to make a note. That's a different version than I expected. And that's it.
Okay.
So copy those to the clipboard, and we won't overwrite anything. We'll do a compare. And so
Okay.
now go to your source folder of the application you've been running,
Okay.
and right click paste, but don't overwrite. We'll select to
Paste. Okay.
let me decide. Click on the let me decide.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Just look at the list. And scroll down. So skip the 5 files, put a checkbox on the bottom left,
Okay. Skip the 5 files. Okay.
and then continue.
Continue.
So it looked like I might have copied something. So now try the app. If the app is open, go ahead and close the app and restart the app.
The app is closed.
And if you want to clear the debug window,
Okay. How do I clear that? Oh, clear what?
yeah.
Okay. Start my app.
Nope, same error.
Okay, I sent you an email with the link to the
Okay.
zip file.
All right. Got it. Let's see. So I can, and I see which, okay, so it's I haven't used this open with, extractor. How should I open this? So it's opening the drive, and
If you double click on it, it should let you copy it.
okay, it's doing this. Now what would I do?
Oh,
I haven't
you
used
want
it.
to,
You want to download that, right?
So this,
there you go, yes.
Yeah.
okay. Okay, so we can close this. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so we can show in folder, and then we want to open this up.
Yeah, double click on that. Or just extract it into some temporary folder.
Yeah. Okay.
And then run
Now,
the exe. So there's it's
demo
called
exe.
demo exe. Yep. You should be able to look in the debug view. I think it'll.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it came over. It's coming up to Honeycomb.
Yeah.
Okay, so our demo app is working
Mm-hmm.
and your app is not. Let's look at the settings. I don't know. Let's look at NetTalk, see if there's something
Mm-hmm.
turned on there that we need to look at.
In global extensions.
Yeah, so no, it's nothing external to your app. It's something in the app.
Okay.
Yeah, let's look at NetTalk itself. Let's go up to the file. We'll just look at each of the extensions that it uses. NetTalk's the one where it's talking though, so let's try that. 1202. That's okay.
Yeah, I don't have my keys in here right now. That's why my
Yeah.
maps aren't working, but it doesn't matter yet.
Okay, that's
Procedures.
fine, nothing there.
Yeah.
Auto access 4 gig RAMs. I don't see anything in there that's gonna stop it.
Okay.
I'm running out of things.
Hmm.
Can Bruce will be with us tomorrow
Okay.
at the open webinar. I wonder if
Okay.
we should put it off to there and see if he can, because it's something in the connection, and I'm not
Yeah.
sure where it can go because it's working okay with our demo.
Right.
So
Just wondering, does it work okay if he compiles the demo?
that's a good question. Did he know it was a template or something?
Okay.
You
Yeah,
might
let's
want
try
to
that.
save the one you've got now, or the executable or something.
Okay.
It's in the zip still, so.
Zip.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, never mind.
So we'll go to, we're going to open up a solution in there.
Yeah.
Desktop.
Do you
And
think
it's,
it's best to delete this generated files first, John?
I wouldn't.
okay, open solution.
Yeah. We can make sure it does a full gen. You
What's
need to
that?
pick the invoice DCT, so it should be in the
Yeah.
same folder. It's hard coded in apparently. There you go. There it is.
All right.
It
And
shouldn't be
let's,
hard coded.
okay.
Okay. Did you see anything, Mary?
Yeah, it came over.
Wait,
Yeah.
we're getting
They've
errors.
included an
Nope, we're
error.
getting errors. Error, unable to connect.
120. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm looking at a moment ago.
Yeah, nope, same error. So it's something in the yeah. I wonder if it's something in NetTalk 12 that's causing this problem.
Yeah. I just recently updated. That was the recent release for him. Which
I
NetTalk are you using in yours?
well, I'm using 11 on the demos.
Oh.
I think that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So I need
Alejandra's
to.
suggesting to try the net demo app and see if that's working or not. Maybe it's a, I don't know.
Yeah, try that.
Oh. Try
Alejandro,
the.
yeah. Okay, so there, NetTalk has a demo app that it distributes. You want to
Okay.
try that one and see if you have the
Okay.
same problem with the Net Demo app.
Yeah. We're gonna go to desktop 1221 templates. Or you can see how I organized. This is gonna update. It's gonna make all this go away. Let's see, NetTalk. Examples, NetTalk, and the demo.
yes, yes, Net Demo. That's it.
Net demo. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. What would we like to try here?
I don't know. I'll open up Alejandro's like he can tell us what to try.
Ping.
Hello. No, go to the web client option.
Web client here. Okay.
Yes. And there put the IP URL, HTTPS.
Okay. Yes.
Yes. After, yes, API.
Oh, here API.
Remember, John, how is the honeycomb?
Yeah, .honeycomb.io. That's it.
Yes,
Enter.
that's it.
Oh, and
Go fetch
Fetch.
at the top there.
go fetch.
Okay.
Unable to open connection. Yeah.
Yes. Try
Yep.
to update the DLLs. I send you, John, this link.
Okay.
So this is a problem with the DLL. So you have a mixed Yes, you have changed the DLLs for some reason.
Hmm.
Maybe an old libcrypto DLL, or you missed the MSB CR 120.dll. So try to update the visual redistribution C++.
I'm
Okay,
not
Mark,
sure.
I just sent you a link
Oh, okay.
that
Test.
talks about what this problem is. It's from Capesoft Docs. And I would say you could look at that.
Okay.
But if you show up at the open webinar tomorrow
Okay.
and we show this to Bruce, he'll probably tell you exactly,
All right.
walk you
So
right through exactly what
it could be my DLLs are out of sync.
yeah, it's a TLS thing.
Okay, I see.
Label collection, blah, blah, blah.
Got it. Okay, I
It's like
got
you
you
might
now.
have something like you might have an older DLL in the path
Got it.
that's getting
Yes.
to these well, it tells you the names of the DLLs there. libSSL 1-1, libcrypto 1-1 DLL,
Yeah.
and those.
And
So
remember that Bruce update the OpenSSL in the
right,
new version of the talk.
Okay. So yeah, so how do I, this has been an issue with me in the past. So how would I know which ones would be the most relevant and recent? Would I go to the NetTalk demo folder and they'd be in there? Because I remember him
yes,
saying that they're copied in.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
He's always going to distribute the most recent. So yeah, that's
Okay.
the place to get them.
All right, great. Well, that's what I will do.
Yeah, we should have copied from Bruce's files instead of when I had you copy from the
From mine, because yeah,
Aussie demo, because those were version 11 Clarion stuff.
Yeah.
you want to try that really quick, and maybe that'll
We do
just
that.
take care of it.
I could throw that in there real quick. So what would I get out of here?
Go down to the LIs,
Okay.
the cryptos.
Here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and one more at the bottom, I think, somewhere. Keep going. It would be the Open SSL. Oh, you see, you did have that one. That's the one you did have.
Okay.
And then I don't know if the PEM file was changed or not. What's the date on it?
Well,
It's going to be DA 2000 something. DH or something. DH. Oh, see, it's really old. It doesn't matter, I guess.
yeah. So take these and copy these into my dev folder.
And probably the one that's CA root at the top of that. I would think it might have something to do with that, but that's got what kind of date?
Yeah, 17.
2017. It's kind of older.
Yeah, there's another, it's zlib w something.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
That's the I think he compresses stuff.
Oh, okay.
He's really old.
Oh, right here. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
really
it's
old. Okay, so want me to copy these three?
Yeah.
Okay. Copy.
See if they're different.
So you want me to do the copy, paste, and then
Let me just, click on let me decide and we can see if they are different. What?
All files have the same date and size.
Okay, so we'll have to ask Bruce where to get this.
Yeah.
okay.
No, but if you see the message in the net demo, you will see actually the difference. It say the lib SSL is missing or is different, or is a dependency. Okay. For this reason, I suggest to download the last visual set redistribution from this link.
Okay.
Because,
The redistributable.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The 2017. Yeah, I will do that. Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
I fight with this error number many times, so
Yeah.
I that with the update of the visual redistribution.
Okay. Well, I will, that'll be my next step. I will go through and then download those, verify those, and then report back tomorrow. So that'll be is
Sounds good.
tomorrow's webinar. But
Yeah,
you guys, you, John and Mary, and everyone that's helped me, thank you so much. It's going to get me through this, and I appreciate it, and it helps others too. So
absolutely. Yeah, because it's, other people have this problem, and now I'll have an answer. So
yeah,
that's good.
great. Okay,
All right.
well, thanks. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm gonna grab the screen back.
Okay.
Yeah, don't forget to change your API back to
Oh, right. I will do
your
that right now.
APIs. Otherwise, it'll still look like it's not working
Yeah, exactly. Okay. All right. Thank you both very much.
because we'll get data, but yeah, there we go. All right. I think that'll wrap it for today. Unless there's any other questions, I don't think there are. Thanks everyone for your help. That was really great. Team effort. Team Onosoft. You guys can get the t-shirts if we ever make them.
Rich
Oh,
is,
Rich
yeah.
yeah, we'll look at yours now. I think it's, I did, yeah. You want to share your screen real quick?
Yeah, let me get the secret passwords off the screen. Okay.
Okay. It's the legacy demo, right? We're having a problem.
Yes.
Let me, hold on a second. Let me see if I can reproduce it here, and then if I can, I'll just take care of it. And if I can't, then I will have to look at yours. So that was just not the multi-DLL legacy, just a regular legacy.
Correct.
Okay. All right, give me a second. I'll do it real quick. What does this? I keep getting these grayed out. Look, I can't compile. I can't do anything here. Why is it doing this? I'll cheat. I'll go over here. Okay. I'm getting the same error you are.
Can you click it and see if it's the dot?
It is. Yep. Sure enough.
Oh, okay.
All right. It's a template problem.
Now that comes and goes. When it
Yeah,
goes
I think I
away,
know why. I know.
the
I,
the the AZ reps line goes away too. Line 219.
okay.
If I
Yeah.
play around with the templates, it's template
I know what
thing
it's doing.
messed up.
It's a multi-variable. It can hold multiple values, and I'm not setting it. I think that's what the problem is.
Okay.
Actually, it might even be worse, but I can replicate it, so that's good. So I'll take care of it here. Really cool.
Okay.
Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, because you want to be able to do processes, and you have legacy.
Yeah.
So I'll fix it before the next post. I'm thinking it might go up tomorrow, but don't hold me to it. I did want to show you guys one more thing, although it's been a longer webinar than I anticipated, but I wanted to show you this. One of the things that happens if you've created some boards and some queries, and then you delete all your data, you want to start fresh, all of your queries will disappear. And so this will be coming up, maybe not the next release, the release after. This is a way where you can back up your boards with all the queries. So this is some of the stuff we were working on. And then you can restore it. So you can import boards, you can export boards. And if you've got different API keys, you can track them, and have different things. So I just wanted to show that just because I thought it looked pretty cool. And so I showed it right at the end when no one's here. Well, actually, a few people are here. You're not no one. All you people are people. I appreciate you sticking around to the end. So this is a bonus for you to see what's coming. It's a pretty neat little deal. All right. So that's it. I think we're done. Thanks again for all your help, everybody. If you have any questions, you can always email us whenever. And thank you. And that's it.
Yeah, thank
Thanks,
you.
Mary.
Thanks,
And
John.
we'll call it a day. Have a happy, this is the last webinar
Awesome. Thank you,
Or
guys.
no soft until the end of the year, right? Until next year. So have a safe and happy and healthy Christmas, holidays, and New Year. And we'll see a lot of you tomorrow. So
Okay.
take care, everybody.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.